Hello, everybody. Welcome to a critically average adventure, and welcome to the Fragments. This is a D&D 5e campaign. I'm playing with my friends, and these are my friends. One just left. But, when last we saw our plucky adventurers, they had crawled out of some tombs beneath the town of Southgate, and they had, after only just joining or sort of agreeing to help a group of knights that were determined to find out what mysteries were going on with the king of Frohast. Go to bed. Go to bed. No, no. No, you don't. Go to bed. And
Knights of Frohast.
They had got out of the. They'd gone underneath the towers of Southgate, through some tunnels, fought some rock guys, over some puzzles, and joined up with this knight force, and or sort of agreed to help. Then got lost in the catacombs beneath, after being given directions to get out, and finally made their way out with 4 hit points. Was it Killian Norn?
Yeah.
Back to the castle, where they met a very excited, worried Thulf, who tried to question them, who is a bit weird, who tried to question them, but obviously they were shattered and knackered and tattered and smelling of corpse and rock and all God knows what. And out of spell slots, Serial and Charlie Boy were pretty... They were on the rocks, basically. So we finished with a long rest in our last game, and that's where we shall begin in the morn. So he's Tholtha's obviously let you recuperate, and you could tell there was an eagerness for him to come and find out what you'd experienced, the full details. He wanted the nitty-gritty, but obviously he could see that you were
not in the mood.
Yeah, basically not in the mood to do.
We needed to sleep.
This sort of stuff, indeed. So your friendly cook in the tower.
Mm-hmm.
When you're a good cook,
Ferin Oust.
Ferin Oost. When you're a really good cook, you sort of know what you learn the taste buds of your of the people that are regulars, and you've been there and eaten for a few days now, and she's kind of picked up upon that. So she's prepared. You wake in your bedrooms, your separate rooms, each of you, in these plush quilted comforts. I think you all went to bed in your armor, stinking, and didn't wash, just kind of collapsing into bed. Oh, that's how I picture it, but we can RP that in a second. But she has prepared, each of you, brought in on a little silver wheeled trolley, your perfect breakfast / recuperation meal. Now, what has she brought you, Jax? What is Jax's sort of favourite thing, or what's she brought for you? What has she kind of sort of whittled out of what you were eating and saw what you were eating the most and relishing?
So Jax is definitely going to have a sort of, I mean, it's probably like sort of a dozen egg spicy omelette with like a Bloody Mary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't even touch the sides, you just like inhale it. Yeah.
This Bloody Mary's got freshly chipped ice from the waters outside.
No, the bridge is going to break.
From the bridge. They seem to be quite an expert in ice and stuff. It's cool. It's refreshing. That slightly tanginess to the Bloody Mary slides down your throat as you sit up. Your bones a little bit, your muscles a little bit stiff, and you flex in your body. What has she brought you, Kills?
You really need to ask.
Is it pastries? Buns?
All the sweet pastries.
All of the sweet pastries. Yeah.
All of them. Oh, I can't do that.
So how many? Like, what? Describe how they look to Killian. No, not how they look to Killian. What has she made? What
It was like, how do they
they
look?
look
to
just
Julie?
delicious to Killian. I know.
Oh, the eclairs that she made.
Hmm.
She's got them like going in a circle
Hmm.
as the base. They're quite a solid
Mhm.
base.
Hmm.
And what are they called when you make like a tower out of the profiterole?
They're called there's a special word for profiterole tower, but I don't know what it is.
It's a I don't know. I can't remember. I know what it is, but
It's
It's
like
like-
a cornucopia. A cornucopia of.
it's literally a traffic cone made out of pastries,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
But she's used them as the base,
mhm,
and then like cinnamon swirls
mhm.
as the second layer, and then like I was gonna call them snails.
Pan au raisin.
Then and then pan au chocolat, then croissants, and then right on the top is one tiny little profiterole.
So Killian is going to die of diabetes like any time now.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
it's all about the sweet pastries for him. And then she's made like a dip,
Mhm.
like a caramel or a chocolate dip.
Mm.
And then there's a
Why not
bowl of
both?
cream.
Mhm. What are you drinking?
The dip.
Milkshake, chocolate milkshake.
Side of dip.
Like the strongest black coffee kind of. Yeah, literally what you drink. Like
Mm.
what is it, like the killer coffee or something you can
Yeah,
get?
that syrup stuff. That's stuff
Yeah.
that they serve at the smugglers. That stuff. That's,
Yeah. It's like the D&D equivalent of that.
Cool.
So it's like
Yeah.
thick, black.
You start munching slowly upon the pastries, but then because you're tired, but then the taste is inspiring, and then more go in, and then on sideways, and your dragonborn face is distorted for a second as it kind of whoop, and then down the throat. You have a nip of this coffee. It's hot. It burns the lips slightly, but that kind of good burn that you want it to be just that little bit too hot, so that you know you're drinking coffee.
Yeah.
It runs down your throat. Do you have sugar?
Hell no.
You don't have sugar.
It's
You've
like
got enough pastry to
All
have
the
sugar.
bitterness of the coffee
Versus the
counteracts
pastries.
the
Yeah, I
sweetness
like
of the
it.
pastries. Like that is
And there is
that's Killian right
there is
there.
there is a zing in you, and you being wounded the most, ache the most. Your muscles are really feeling it, and from where the weird woodlouse type creature wrapped itself around you with its tendrils, you feel a bit grim. Serial, what has she brought you?
The most tender bit of owlbear meat. So that like the prime cut of owlbear. I'm trying to think which would be the prime cut of owlbear. Maybe
You get
Like the
owlbear
cheek.
sirloin.
No, the
Sorry?
cheek.
Owlbear sirloin.
yes. Yeah, the cheek of owlbear. And so it's like super succulent meat. And all that, and there's a amazing array of salad that's made from all the different all these unusual salads and mushrooms and things that you find in the Feywild. Well, I still can't say that. And so there's always like brightly coloured and unusual salads, leaves and mushrooms, and this prime bit of meat like sat on top, and then some really, really crusty bread to wolf it all down with.
I imagine that she sliced it almost like sashimi, like and it's laid, seared slightly on the outside, but the inside's still pink and bloody.
Yeah.
Charlie wakes to
Bread and water.
a loaf of bread, a beautifully baked loaf of bread, like a round loaf that he just breaks open, and the steam comes out as it's still hot, and it smells slightly aniseed, like there's something in there that's like aniseedy. And then he takes a great knife with into pat of butter and puts butter onto the hot steaming bread and drinks that
That
along
sounds
with
good.
this piece, this delicate fine chinaware set of with a tea, a green sort of green tea that's got some sort of orange in it as well, something
Mushroom.
something citrusy in it. No,
Mhm.
not a mushroom tea. It's not tripping at this time in the morning. As much as I love my mushroom folk. Luke's made his own homebrew mushroom folk base, by the way, for the other campaign. I will share it with you all later so you can read his mushroom folk race. He's
Please
just
do.
encouraging me to
Yes,
build my own mushroom folk character. It'll be on the next D&D Beyond, I'm sure. Like
please do.
they'll launch his thing. So what are you doing next, folks? Let me let you RP for a bit and tell me what are your next thoughts. What's going on next?
Well, we had a plan, didn't we, with the knights?
Well, we were going to check out and see what was going on. And we're going to have to tell Solth something.
It's like
You're still
Unless
in your individual bedrooms, by the way.
I was
guys.
gonna say, like, I don't know what you guys are doing, but Killian's on the hunt to see what everybody else got for breakfast, to see if there's any left, to see if he can pinch them.
Oh, in that case, if we're not all together yet, that we should. Yeah, fair play.
Well, whose door are you going to pester first, Killian? Because I really like this idea.
I'm not going to be in my room. I'm going to go to that fancy bathroom where Killian went
Okay.
to have a long soak in the bath.
But Killian with the coffee is up before you.
Killian's like, "Phew."
Killian's pretty good, but there's just as you're about to walk out the door, you hear.
I open the door.
It's still. There's this wired dragonborn staring down at you. What do you do?
Killian, can I help you with something?
What for breakfast?
Haven't you had your breakfast yet?
What did you get for breakfast?
I've eaten it all. It was a beautiful piece of owlbear, loads of unusual mushrooms and salad, and a chunky, lovely, crisp bit of bread.
I really shouldn't do that with my face. That hurts so much.
As you stare, it's quite startling. There is around Killian's normally pure white scale, there is definitely a black kind of mustache on Killian's face, and you're not sure what made that stain.
Did you not have enough breakfast? So then I say, looking at the stain on her Killian's face. You're always hungry, aren't you, Killian?
More food.
Maybe you should go down to the kitchen and see if there's any more buns.
I just spin on my heels and turn in the other way, like heading to Jackson's room. I'm like, no, Charlie first. Like,
coming. And then
And I
Serial
watch her go, and then I go towards the fancy
you
bar.
kind of slink past, trying to not be noticed again by Killian, and make your way to that bathroom area on the slightly lower floor.
Killian is birds.
You walk in, and not being so ignorant of the things around you, as Killian sometimes is, there are the attendees there.
Mm-hmm.
And there is the beautiful bath. Your armor is stinking and honking. What would you like to do?
I bow my head graciously at the attendees, and I slowly take off my armor.
Mm-hmm. They move to assist.
They're going to sit.
They move to assist. They kind of.
Oh, they move to assist. Yeah, I let them assist.
Mm-hmm. Your bones are weary and you're aching, and they lift the plate and things from you, and you, they take them and say, "Would you like these tended to? We can get these cleaned."
I nod.
Mm-hmm. They whisk them away. One of them with a bundle of things over their arm, and take them to be processed. The other one shows you to a wall where there are a selection of oils and things that you can add to your bath.
hmm
What scent
So,
do you add?
being a wood elf, I select sandalwood
Mhm.
and
Pines is what I'd
What?
add. Pine.
pine. No, that won't be
Makes
too
you
much.
think of furniture polish.
Yeah, that makes
I
me
love the
think
smell.
of disinfectant pine. No, geranium,
Mhm.
geranium and sandalwood.
I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of geranium. Yeah. She helps you. She holds under your arm, noticing the bruises and stuff from your
Mhm.
excursions beneath, and helps you lower you in the bath, and you sink your body beneath the water
Mhm.
up to sort of here. The bath overflows onto the stone floor slightly. This doesn't seem like it's a problem in this place, and you feel your body start to relax.
Mm.
Jax, we'll go on.
I am going to go down to the kitchen and get my big platter of stuff to take into town.
As you're leaving, just as you
I-
come out the door,
I'll take my bowl of me sort of my bowl of me empty mug in as well. Drop that off.
so Ferrin is there, and she says, Jax, how did you like your breakfast?
It was a little mild, but it's getting there.
Mild. I put a few in there. You like it hotter?
Your lips need to tingle.
Here. She says, come here. I just had these in.
Okay.
And she opens a like a larder type thing and reaches in, and on the shelf there is a Hessian bag, and she says, only hold them by the stalk. And she opens up a bag, and it's full of what looks to be fried chilies.
Cool.
Dried chilies, sorry.
I'll take a couple,
Okay.
and yeah, he's gonna pop one in his mouth.
Okay. Let's have a
Not doing it.
constitution then. Let's see how well you handle these chilies.
Please say Jack's special.
I rolled a 5, so I got 11.
They're hot. Your mouth burns. You place the second one in.
Oh no, I'm keeping the other one.
You're keeping one. Okay.
Just for Matt's purposes. No, because Killian's going to turn up in a minute. Go, what do you have for breakfast? And
That's too much metagaming. But it'll be very fun.
Ice dragon here.
Your face flushes. I don't know what face color your face flushes actually. Does it go a darker green because your blood is green? I guess more like pipes to the surface.
I don't know.
You go from like a pale. I imagine like a sort of grass. I don't know. Yeah, like that kind of pale green, almost to like a deep emerald, maybe. Like as the blood kind of pumps through them, and she says, "Good day. What do you think of them?"
A couple of them in there, those eggs would have been amazing.
All right, next time, I promise.
Brilliant. You got me a platter to take into town?
Nearly ready, Jack. You know, I think it's amazing what you do. They don't stop you because you're not an employee. It's hilarious. But I mean, did you find the prince or anything? Like, what happened? What's happening?
I don't know. He's a bit weird.
Opening.
What's happening?
What happened there went a bit Welsh.
He's a bit,
Anyway, I'm glad we did well in one sentence.
as I understand it, he's not due back for another day or so. It's today or tomorrow he's due back, isn't he? Officially, from what he said.
Alf said he could be away for a few days, basically. Sometimes these excursions can be long, sometimes short. But
okay.
Be worried every time he says this.
Okay. As I understand it, he's like due like today or tomorrow, but who knows? He's a bit odd. But I think we're going to be heading off soon. We're going over the bridge. We got some things to do and visit.
It's been great to have you. Someone to enjoy the food.
What does he actually eat?
So, only scraps. Scraps that even like the dogs wouldn't eat. Like I don't. He's always been a pensive boy.
I mean, he had some nice booze in his bedroom. I think Killian enjoyed that. Pretty sure you ended up with a bottle of booze out of his bedroom.
Mm.
Oh no, we both had drinks out of the bedroom because we were walking around with the mugs, weren't we? With the cups. We helped ourselves to the supplies.
Our thinking was, well, he's not here to have it, so.
And she says, "Hey, he drinks. He does drink."
Hmm. But yes, he's definitely a strange one.
Yes, since he was a boy. Always weird.
Has anyone else woken up or anyone else been about yet?
Ain't seen no one yet.
Okay.
Jax, I would inquire a bit more about
You're not
the
there.
one.
You're not there.
Matt.
At this point, like I've harassed Charlie. Can they just hear me like thundering down the stairs? Like,
I wanted to RP that bit with Charlie.
Okay.
Like,
I was gonna say.
he's holding the finest china with a teacup and kind of opens it and then. Killian. It's really weird seeing someone drink from fine china who has a beak. It's quite
He sits there and holds it like this and just goes like that.
That's what I was expecting. Like,
it's kind of like somehow he's managing not to spill any down the sides. It's just like, good morning, Killian. You're looking in fine form. Yes, mine was most delicious, simple tea and bread and butter.
any of that?
Yes, come and join me. Would you like a cup? Yes, bread. Would you like a cup of tea?
Like, can I pick the teacup up? And literally, it's like,
Yeah, it's
size.
ridiculously small in your hand.
You got an espresso cup.
Is that-
oh, small, like,
Killy-
you know,
Charlie's
like,
like this underneath you with the saucer, like.
you know, like kids teacup, like plate
Yeah.
set. You know, that's what I'm imagining, like, you know, tiny little things, like. And I just hand it back to it and just reach for the teapot. Right.
It's like, you want to be careful. Don't do.
Just through the spout.
You drink through the spout, but after the first little way, tea leaves rush into your mouth.
I'm like,
Okay, so eventually there is very little tea, just tea leaves like all in your mouth, like sticking to your tongue, the taste of tannic. Then you ram down the rest of Charlie's bread, and Charlie's like, I suppose we should go and fight the bats then.
like, he doesn't even need to tell me. I'm like already out the door, like,
And this is where you hear the Killian charging down the stone stairs that run down the inside of the
you
towers.
know, like, what is it? When you used to like go down the stairs on your bum when you were a kid. and
Yeah.
That like 100 times faster is Killian pelting down them stairs, like,
At this point, I've got my eyes shut in the bath. I sort of open one eye because I can hear you banging down the stairs.
Yeah,
smile
you are a
and
floors
then close
difference,
my eyes
but you
again.
can still hear this, even though there's a floors difference between you.
Yeah.
Into the kitchen.
So are you above or below her?
Below, I believe the bathrooms were, if I remember the
Yeah.
construction, wasn't it? Kitchen, bathroom.
yeah.
So
Below.
I'm down on the floor.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah, so you are I need to probably draw it out. I might actually watch that episode back and draw all the floors in properly. because I did write it down and I don't have a note for it. So you, Killian bursts into the kind of kitchen full of energy, and Charlie comes down and he's got hay fever. No, he hasn't. That's just me. That's Pete as a out of character. You and Charlie follows down, sipping gently from this piece of china. And Jax, you are all three in the kitchen now.
I've still got the teapot like swinging from my hand. I didn't even put it down. I went,
Yeah. Fedden goes, "Good morning, Master Killian. Let me take that." She takes the fine china out of the giant Dragonborn's hand, reaches up obviously like this because she's the dwarf, and she takes it and puts it on the side and she says, "Enjoy your drink."
I just look at her, my eyes are just like,
It's a special combination. It's come over from Kansas. They're calling it root brew.
you have no idea how much that hurts.
What?
Oh, why?
Where's Kanzax?
Middle of Frohast.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where we got to go. Yeah.
Flaming wolves.
Huh?
Does it make you want to go shouting through flaming wolves?
Probably, yes.
Yeah, we haven't got that one. Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Beyond the little forest.
I don't think that's on the map that we got in Frohast.
Well, I can send you the new map. Oh no, I can send you the map. It's more similar to the picture that is on the streams. It's above us.
So
Go
I'm
on
just
then.
waiting
Hi.
for Matter to drop that off to the kids. Where's
Who's typing?
Serial gone?
Sarah's
in the
down.
bar.
Oh, you?
Yeah.
No one knows where Sarah is at the moment because she's just snuck out.
Because is she gonna go and play with this Jemmy thing and see if she can find?
Mini earthquake, Sarah's totally stood up.
Charlie's like, well, I thought the plan was that Serial and was going to try and get Carla to look at the gem.
No, because we realised that she doesn't need Carla to do it because Serial's met the king.
Indeed, she has a letter, I believe. She showed us, Killian.
Yes.
Yes.
So she has something from him and she's met him, so hopefully it might actually be easier for her.
Yes. Okay.
So we need her. But I'm going to drop this stuff down to town. Charlie, can you do me a favour?
I can try. What would you?
I'm going to flick him a gold coin. Can you go and do? Can you go and do a I don't know, a religious-y thing, to sort of say sorry to a Mr. J. Gamble, because I don't really need to be haunted. But you know, we kind of needed him last night, and to sort of, you know, so say a prayer and like sort of, you know, put him at ease or whatever.
Jack said it's very noble and very godly and a good thing to do. You don't here, and he gives you the gold back. He's like, you don't need this for answers from the gods. You need time and patience and belief.
Okay, I just don't want to get haunted.
I will say the prayers for you, and I do not believe that the dead have much use for gold.
Well, I kind of figured you'd like light a candle or something. I don't know, your religious-y stuff.
I do not know which gods he worshipped, Mr. Gamble or Mrs. Gamble or they Gamble. I do not know, but I will.
Well, I only really know the Grummash stuff, and that's generally a lot more violent, and there's some sort of, you know, bashing of heads.
Well, a lot of the town does seem to be revolve around the Wild Mother, the proximity to the southern continent probably engenders the wrath of the sea and the fear of the storm as a guiding principle for much of their world beliefs, and it certainly governed mine from where I come. I will say your prayers while you hand out the food.
Okay.
And we'll meet back here noon.
I reckon we go up to the library. Isn't that near where the thingy room is anyway?
To the library.
Yeah.
He rubs his arm. Yes, we must be wary.
Okay. You have a spiky thing. If a book attacks you, like hit it with a spiky and then pin it to the wall.
I'm well aware how to hit things, Jax. I hit a few things for you. If you don't forget, those rock fellows, quite the brutes.
Yes. Was not a fan of them.
How are you feeling, by the way, Jax? He kind of says that like he doesn't want to say it.
I'll live.
Jolly good. And he kind of pats you just like gently and says, I'll see you in a while. And Charlie makes his excuses and leaves and says goodbye.
Oh, Hills, try one of these. This is what I have for breakfast. And I'm going to throw him a chili
To who?
to Kills.
Oh no, I just wanted, just quickly, I wanted to, while that conversation was going on, Killian was stood next to Jackson, just kind of going, trying to steal things off the plat.
Oh yeah, go on then. Let's make a sleight of hand. Let's see. Do a sleight of hand to see if you actually. and Jack's sleight of hand versus perception. Do we think passive? It'll be passive because you're not
Passive. Mine's 11. So
make a sleight of hand with against an 11 passive.
Right.
It's a +0. You've got your good dice tray though, so this is where the nat 20s come in.
Yeah, see what happened when it got lost, Peter? See what happened? I'm still blaming you.
12.
Yeah, so Jack, you glance back at the platter, and there is significantly less pastry on the platter than when you
I've even, like,
then when it was
stolen, like,
being lined up on the table.
Bacon as well, and like put it inside the croissant.
Yeah, there's as much as Ferrin starts loading up the thing, there's still always like one less than when you last looked at the platter. Charlie makes his excuses and leaves. Serial, you are feeling revitalized and soaked and all.
I've been thinking while I'm in the bath about this. What magic am I trying to do? I've forgotten what I'm doing now.
Well, you were going to go and look at the.
We're hoping that you can use the Orby thing to sort of scry on the king.
Orby thing, that's it. Okay. So I've been thinking about this and trying to sort of focus my mind on using the orb, and I'm thinking back at that about that letter and what the letter says.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I need to go back to my room to get the letter before going to the orb room to try and focus on finding the king with the letter and the orb.
Yeah, you think if you have that remnant, that memory of him, like as a physical thing, it might help guide you.
Yeah.
That is some really good, like, sort of how magic works, like sympathetic magic works like that. When you have
so do the maidens that are in the bathroom with me, they hand me a big, I sort of get up and they hand me a big fluffy towel.
There's a towel that you can dry yourself with, and they have also prepared you a sort of robe, like a silken robe. It's
nice.
It's white, but it's ice white, so it's almost blue in places, like when it shimmers. Not iridescent, but just where the light plays across it. Even in this this room's quite dark lit, and it seems to almost glow in this space as you
Yeah,
move through
yeah.
it. And they say, "It's Lady Cereal. Take this for now. We will return your armor to you as soon as we have it fixed and repaired." And
Is that the same? Are they going to clean my clothes for me as well? I'm guessing they're filthy. too.
They've taken your
Yeah.
clothes, and we shall get your armor and your raiment repaired for you and fixed, and any holes mended, and it'll be returned to you soon.
So wearing, I put on the robe and I sort of rub it because it's sort of
Mm.
elegant.
It's
and I
ever
kind
so
of,
soft. It's
Yeah.
fine crafted.
and I appreciate the craftsmanship of the robe.
Yeah.
And then I almost, because I feel like refreshed and in tune with my magical self,
Mhm.
I then almost glide out of the door.
Yeah.
You
The robe reaches the floor, and you move once again like you're an elf. Like the door opens with grace. As your hand lays upon the handle, it's like one finger at a time, and then you take it, turn it ever so gently with a slight movement of the wrist, and you flow out of the room. And then are you going upstairs to the library? Where are you heading, to your rooms, or?
I'm heading to my room first to get the letter.
You glide up, and as you're starting to glide up the stairs, down comes Charlie, and says, "Good morning, Lady Cereal. You look radiant."
I nod to Charlie and go, I feel like I've become myself again. After all we've been through, I sort of was lost for a while, but I've rested and I've meditated, and I feel myself.
He says, "Well, you being of royal blood, which you shared with me when we were back on the boat, well, I can imagine that this is maybe akin to what you might experience."
Toby, no. Sorry.
What you might experience, but I must admit, I've never had the opportunity to experience elven hospitality. I have when I first joined at the island. There was a gathering of people at Drosk, and then we all went to the island. But this is quite fine food, quite fine everything, really.
When this is all over, Charlie, I would love to bring you back to my kingdom and show you how us elves treat those as noble as yourself.
Lady Sarah, I will hold you to that. Good day. I must go and say a prayer.
As you wish.
And
I nod. Yeah. And he runs down the stairs. Yeah.
he goes off. Charlie, with his little blue bit. Yeah, his little bit. Charlie, out of sight of everybody, and at the gates, looks about, and underneath the cloak that goes over the top of his armor, there's a twitching in the back, and he kind of looks to himself, looks around, and then he spreads his wings out, and there's that blue underneath. And he's like, gives them kind of flex.
Can I see anything from the kitchen?
No, you're inside.
I really wanted to be like, God, Charlie.
And this is kind of like a private moment. He's like, bless that checks. And he kind of says to himself, and then he flaps his wings, and he's up in the air, and he soars out and over the battlements, and the even the guards look up and watch him go over. And there's a few the street kids that have obviously been gathering, waiting for the Jack's breakfast delivery, look up at Charlie, and they're like, "Wow!" Like, just going epic. and he looks benevolently down upon them and smiles and flies to the church to say a prayer. So yeah, up the stairs comes a Serial looking resplendent in this white blue robe, past the kitchens and up to the other floors. Do you guys stop her on her way? You would have seen her coming past. If not seen her, you probably would have smelled this waft of cleanliness that you have yet to experience yourselves.
Yeah.
There's
Jack,
just this-
Jack had a bath when he joined the party. You know that's good enough.
We just, I get the image of like
Oh, yeah, one the other day.
me and Jax just kind of stood in the kitchen and we're just like looking at each other like, was that you? You know, that kind of thing where it's like, was that you?
Did you just perfume?
But then it's like we realise it's not any of us, and we just look out the door, and Sarah just glides
Yeah,
past. And we're like,
there's this. I want to combine these two words: an elegant miasma of scent.
Whose phone is too close to their mic?
It's mine. I'm trying to stop it doing that, but it seems to be,
I
yeah.
was gonna say, I
Sorry.
can't hear anything.
Yeah, the thingy.
I'm putting it all the way over here, and hopefully it will stop doing it.
Yeah,
No, it could be us buzzing.
No, it's not me.
Yeah. So you.
So are you good to try this Orby thing now then?
I need to focus the magic, and I need to. It's quite a hard thing for me to direct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the letter from the king that I brought with me, and I'm going to use that as a vessel to focus my magic, and hopefully then we'll be able to use the orb to find him.
If it does work, is it worth getting something from like the prince's bedroom and then trying to find him as well? You know, if you get a pair of, like,
I
underpants or
could, but
something.
it's Jackson. I don't think you appreciate how much it's going to drain me to do this. Obviously, I can try,
Fine.
but I think our focus should be the king with it first, and obviously, if I have enough energy and focus, I will try the prince as well. Would you like me to pick something up before I go back to the orb room?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It is en route, so it would make sense. You have to travel to the other tower, then up the stairs, and then
Yeah, so if you go down a couple of rooms, you get his bedroom and sitting room and stuff. So
Chamber. Yeah.
you know, I'm assuming you can find something that he's born.
Very well, I will try. I can't guarantee. As I say, I will focus on the king first, and if I have the energy, I will try and search out the prince as well, as you wish.
Okay, well, I'm off delivering this stuff, and then we'll meet you over there so you can get dressed and stuff.
Platter that's only possible.
yeah, you go out with a slightly lighter platter than normal. So what are you doing, Kills?
Again, while they were talking, Kills was still just like hovering behind Jackson, just
Taking bacon.
No, I've thrown you some of my breakfast.
Oh yeah, you did throw
oh
your chili.
yeah, the chili. Can I eat it?
Yeah, you
like-
can make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Killian literally just doesn't care. It's food. He will shove it in his face. Like you throw it at him, and Killian literally just opens his mouth and catches it. That's how I imagine it.
Like a
That.
ravenous seagull. Yeah, +3.
20.
20. Yeah. Less. Not even a hint of like a burning but pleasant. And
The way I imagine it is because I'm ice and the chili's really hot. I literally just bite into it and then steam comes out.
yeah,
you know
like a
what I
little
mean?
bit of like yeah.
That's how
Yeah,
I
like it's
imagined
actually
it.
putting out the heat of it, kind of thing. Even though chili heat doesn't work.
No,
like
but you know
actual
what I
fire,
mean.
but
That's how
just
I
for
imagined
comedic
it.
effect, that's what happens. Yes.
Shut up! It's D&D. You can imagine what you like.
You can. Technically, you need to be what's the opposite of a black dragon, an acid. You know, Never mind. We need an alkali dragon. What alkali dragons are there, Matt?
I don't know. Pink.
We need like a chalk dragon or something like that. Like a
Chalk
dragon.
dragon, I like it.
Called Alka-Seltzer.
Sorry?
It's called Alka-Seltzer.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god, a chalk dragon called Alka-Seltzer. That is an NPC creation on the hoof.
I need to take ibuprofen now. I'm just going to carry on.
Yeah, so there's no reaction from dear Kills as he gobbles down this delightful chili that you also enjoyed.
Sure.
Sarah, go
Yeah. So I'm going to head out and deliver this stuff and head back in. Hopefully Sarah will be ready when we get there.
Yeah. So there is a time that passes. Serial, you remain in. Do you want to remain in your robes or just find something that's more suitable to dress in? Well, not more suitable because this is perfectly suitable for you. You feel at home in this garment.
I want to stay in this robe because I kind of like the floatiness of it.
Yeah, the aesthetic thing. I'm about to cast.
Don't you dare.
Mine. You're about to cast delightful magic.
Mhm.
What? It's not black one. Stop. You you go back to your room. You find your letter.
I've got my letter,
Do you
and I go over to the other tower,
Mhm.
and I first go into the prince's room looking for something suitable to take with me.
Brilliant. Make me an investigation check, please.
I've lost my phone now. Taking it that far away from the computer.
It's like, wait.
Keep it away, but I need D&D Beyond.
Oh, I did it.
I told Milo, I was like, do not be messaging me on a Tuesday night. It's D&D. They were like, you're so sad. I was like, shut up. D&D.
It's not sad.
17.
17. You, as you're looking around, notice the if you ever remember, there was some portraiture of a stern-looking man and a young boy
Mhm.
in this space. In other places in the castle and here, it's also reflected. This young boy that you take to be the prince and the older person. It looks like the prince. You know, skinny, slim, not very.
Smiley.
Well, not very small. No, happy in these pictures.
Really?
Happy, smiling, like
Innocent.
looking up, looking
Adorable.
longingly, maybe would be the best word. At the father in the pictures, the artist has captured this, and the father's staring quite like into the middle distances, kind of thing, with a great beard and a kind of royal looking armor, like a half armor, like that you've seen before, like the ceremonial stuff on, but the boy just in sort of simple, almost like surfish clothes, but nicely made, like velvet kind of things with plumed shoulders and stuff like that. You find an item that is another letter, and it looks like a letter written by a child, a much younger child.
Okay, so it could have been written by the prince.
The handwriting is kind of distorted, a bit kind of wonky. It's been tried to obviously they tried to make the young child write in joined up from being learning to write. Never was there separate letters. These were always meant to be together, and there are much too many loops in places. But as you read it, it basically just says, "Happy birthday, I love you, Dad." On it.
Aww. Yeah, that's the item I want to take with me.
Yeah.
So I pick the letter up and I slip it into my robe.
Yeah, sure, no
So I
problem.
keep it close.
Yeah, is it? Yeah, I love you, Dad. And then uh, Tustin is written the most clearly. As you obviously, the first thing you learn to write is one of the things you write is your name. So
Mm.
that's come out in kind of quite beautiful calligraphy from this honest letter. So you have the things and you're waiting, and where are you waiting in the library? Where are you waiting in the tower? Whereabouts?
Remind me again where the orb room is in relation to the.
The bridge goes across into the library, and then upstairs from the library is the lab and the orb room.
Okay. So
And then
I've got to go.
Yeah, so you've got to go into the library anyway to get
I've
up.
got to go into the library before I then go up another layer.
Yeah.
I am in the library. Got any windows?
There are, but to the back. When you enter, it's just books and books and books and books and books. But if you were to walk around, you would assume that it would reach the edge of the place. Yeah.
Yeah. So I walk. I sort of almost glide a bit like a wizard, but in that sort of slightly surreal nature. I sort of glide along the bookcase and then move towards the window to wait to look out the window. Yeah, meditatively.
Okay.
Waiting for the other storyline.
Roll a d4.
Three.
The window that you come to looks southerly.
Mm-hmm.
And so south from where you are is pretty much nothing but the ice bridge until you see in the very far distance the beginnings of Frohast, like great icy wastes, and very flat from here. So the bridges and the sea, where you stare out over the waters, you see the storm clouds racing across. You see great white puffs of, that white snow cloud that is ready, burdening, ready to drop its burden upon the plains.
Like a snowstorm coming.
And you look down and you see from your tower, underneath, where you must have been down and through to the basement. You see that coming as a side part of this on that tower is the kind of inbound to the main continent, and out of the left hand side goes the traffic through and out along the bridge. So you see people walking across the bridge. You see carts, or sleds more than carts, upon the ice bridge, being hauled by different manner of creatures, some deer, some wolf drawn, and some drawn by bigger things like that look like bears, great big white bears that pull the carts along to and fro along the bridge,
Toby, on the chair.
bringing trade to and from the.
So yeah, so that's the base. It's basically the main route to the ice bridge is directly below this tower.
The way it works is the tower that the bedrooms are on is outbound traffic. The tower that you're in is inbound traffic. Yeah, so
right. Okay.
With coming northbound, maybe that's easier to talk about it. So coming north onto the main continent is your tower. Southbound is the other one.
Okay. So I stand there watching the people, just waiting for the others to arrive. Actually, I don't know whether I want to wait for them because I think they'd be a distraction.
It's up to you.
She said Killian's gonna be a distraction.
I think
Killian.
Killian and Jackson are going to be a distraction.
Gillian's never a distraction.
I think actually, after contemplating for a few moments, I realised it's probably best if I start the process now while I'm sort of in the zone, as it were,
Mm-hmm.
rather than waiting for Jackson and Killian to blunder in and not let me focus on what I need to do.
So you proceed up to the room where the orb is.
Mhm.
Well, through the laboratory first, and then to the room with the runes on the floor
Mhm.
into the orb. And you remember that last time you were here, it wasn't the nicest of experience. You saw some strange things, and
Mm.
the prince was.
I sort of shudder a little bit when I move in.
The prince was unkind and just snide. Probably the best way to describe how his attitude was, almost mocking in "What are you scared?" You remember that kind of phrase from him.
So it's almost like I replay this in my mind, the whole scene as I enter the room, and I'm a sort of a little bit taken aback for a moment, so I don't want to move straight into the room straight away. And then I sort of shudder and try and I sort of tap my head, sort of right, focus. You've got a job to do, and then I move slowly towards the orb.
You remember what you must do. You must place your hands upon the orb. But I'd like you now to make an Arcana check with. And you're looking for the king first, or the?
Yes, I'm looking for the king first.
Okay. Can you make a Arcana with advantage?
I have lots of advantage.
Hmm?
The highest I got was 12.
12. Okay. You place your hands on, and immediately that you feel that rushing feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And this time you're on the rails again. You don't have full control.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel like this is the present.
Mm-hmm.
And this is happening now. This feels very, very real.
Yeah.
To you.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look down, you don't recognize your hands. And you don't recognize the rings upon them.
Do I recognize the rings as those of the king?
You do.
So I assumed that I've now teleported myself almost into his soul, into his body.
You might be looking out a window using his eyes as that portal.
Yeah.
You look around and you are on a great plain, a great grass plain, where there are woodlands distant, the grass is deep. You realize that you feel heat underneath your thighs, and you realize you are on horseback, and you are looking across a great plain, and you hear yourself saying, "Come on then," in this kind of, in a broad voice that's not your own. It's kind of a stately voice. "Come on then." Again, and over the top of the crest comes a smaller but beautifully groomed horse, sort of sweating and glistening as it runs over, and upon the back is a small boy, thin, dark hair, dressed in a sort of training sort of armor. This looks like maybe he's 16, 17, nearly a man. He says, "Father, did you see how I ran?" He says, "Yes, boy, but back straight. Come on. You can keep yourself taller than that. Hold yourself upright. Grip with those thighs, boy. Come on. Come on back home." And you, the horses turn, and you're looking back towards the sea. You see the edges of cliffs. You're on a rise that's on the mainland, looking back at Southgate, and then the vision ends.
So I think it's the present, but the boy who I assume to be the prince is young.
Stop begging, dog. Go away. Bed. Go on. Oh, you're not coming up.
I'm
here.
confused.
Sorry, I'm trying to get Toby away. Go
Right.
away.
Toby.
Sorry, what were you? So you were assuming that the
So you said I think it's the present, yet the scene I see is almost like a scene from the past where the prince is a boy. Or a young man, let's say. But I thought when I started the vision, I thought it was in real time rather than history.
Yeah.
When I looked at myself on horseback, did I look like I was a younger version of the king, or a what the king would look like now?
What are you comparing it to? What time frame?
Well, I had that. There was the painting in the room, so I want to sort of compare it to the king and the prince. Obviously, the prince was younger in the painting, but the king and the prince in the painting compared to the prince as I know him now. How old is the prince that I know him now?
You'd say 30s, maybe.
Toby.
30s,
Stay.
okay.
You'd say about 30s, maybe
Okay.
maybe late 30s. But yeah, just through logic, then if the boy was older, the king was older.
Mhm.
But you obviously can't see your own face. But make a history check, please.
Lay down, Toby. Pete, tell him he's ignoring me completely.
But obviously, it's not the present because the prince is too young to be the present.
Well,
17.
When you knew the king, his hands were older than the hands that you looked at. You remember kneeling and kissing one of those signets,
Mhm.
and the hands here were strong, quite virile hands, and still they had the same strength when you knew him. And but there was, more veins.
Lines.
Yeah, there were veins and lines, and the sort of, when the hand gets older and the knuckles start looking larger, you remember being older.
So, in that vision, I think I was, because I'd already seen the painting and obviously the prince's letter, I think that had sort of clouded my focus for actually finding the king in present.
Yeah.
So I decide to focus on what I think the king would look like now based on what I know he looked like when I knew him.
Mm-hmm.
So I try and think about him. How much time has passed? Are we talking about 10 years?
Since
Between when I knew him?
Yeah, probably about 10 years.
Yeah. So I sort of
time for a human, but for an elf, not
yeah.
much.
So I kind of focus on what I think he would look like now based on what he looked like 10 years ago.
Okay.
And I decide to try and hold that in my mind and try again.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you to make another Arcana check, but this one just a straight one.
Okay.
You're starting to feel that
A bit tired.
your magical prowess is starting to go.
Can't find Arcana now. Where's that?
Top of your sleeves.
15.
There is scene. You are holding a knife and fork. You look down upon your hands. They appear to be the same age hands as before. You are at a dining table. There is a large meal set before you, and a petulant looking boy at the other end, dark hair. Come, eat up. And you can see that, just hear the scraping of the plate is hard to see behind the mound of food, but you hear the scraping of a knife and fork on plate, and just pushing food around the plate. And you glance to your right, and you see a beautiful dark-haired woman, and you hear your voice say, "What's wrong with him? Why doesn't he eat?" And that's when your vision ends.
At this point, I sort of throw the letter down in frustration because I've not got the information that I thought I could get. And I'm sort of disappointed in myself. A bit like a lot of people relying on me to get this information, and I can't quite tune in to the right time period. So I'm tired. I pick the letter back up after having my little tantrum to myself, and I go back down to the library to wait for the others and try and think of a way.
You think
Once
you've
I've
got
recovered
one
to-
more go left in you that you could search, but you know now that you have today, you might only have one chance to search for the prince or for the king. You feel like you might be shattered after this and your energy's spent.
Have we
I think I need to.
bored in town and gone back and sitting in the library waiting for
Yeah.
Serial to turn up?
You're proceeding back towards the tower. Serial, are you going to have another go now? We're going to discuss with your friends.
I kind of pull myself together.
Yeah.
Is there anything else in this room that could draw me to the king in the here and now, or is it all prince's stuff?
This is the prince's domain. You think it's long been the prince's domain?
Okay. I don't know whether to go back to. Which bits of the king's chambers? Where's the king's chambers?
You have not
His room
found
is
anywhere.
right down near the bottom of the tower.
I think.
You
I don't know whether to go back to the other guys first and sort of explain the situation and say I need to try and find something to connect me with the king as he is now rather than the king as a past before I have another go. I just think if I do, I mean, my power's dropping, and I've not been successful so far. I think if I have another go now, then how long, DM? How long would it take for me to recoup if once
You're going to have a long rest.
another long rest? Okay.
I can't say anything, can I? Because she's not with us.
No, not yet. You and Jax are making your way to the library. Make a perception. Jax and
Killian.
Liz.
I love how you always forget Killian.
No, just Jax and what's that?
That's a natural 20 or 21.
And
You shitting me? Look.
yeah, 21 as well. Both of you hear the beating of wings, and then onto just as you're crossing the bridge, Charlie lands on the with his claws out onto the edge of the balcony, or the sort of handrail battlement type
Railing.
kind of thing that goes between the two towers, and you can tell he's smiling all over, kind of thing, and he kind of tucks his wings away. Jax, thank you. Yes.
You're welcome.
It's marvelous, absolutely fantastic. You encouraged me to not be ashamed of my nature. Well, Melora, bless you. What's going on? Are we going to fight?
I'm gonna put my arm around Charlie's shoulder and like sort of just lead him sort of across the bridge a little bit away from Kills.
Yeah.
And just sort of say, like, and I'll sort of, point at Eggy and his like little papoosey thing he's got for it. You know that was a joke, right?
What was a joke?
That's an owlbear egg. Yeah, when we were in the kitchen and you fell asleep on the thingy, we got an owlbear egg.
You seem processing this, and I feel rather silly now.
Oh.
But
you know what? I've become kind of attached to it.
Oh.
I'm not going to get rid of it.
it might hatch. I don't know if owlbear eggs hatch. It hadn't been cooked.
Is he? I'm going to see if Charlie knows if owlbear eggs hatch. Yes, he does, because he got a natural 20. He's like, well, this one, I felt movement, Jax. Inside.
Well, maybe you could get yourself a pet owlbear. A companion. You what?
I don't know if I could keep a pet, a wild animal. I'm not sure if it's right or true.
Well, you train them and they become friends. You never seen like someone with a dog or a warg or anything.
Yes.
And you end up trusting your life to them, and they're you, and they're useful to have around.
End up breaking your nose.
Or they end up headbutting you, yes, like you've had from dog. He says, well, shall we keep it?
If it's gonna hatch, I think you could probably sort of train it and raise it. How you've been looking after the egg would suggest that you've got the fatherly instinct in you.
That he almost blushes. He's like, please, Jax. You know that people who take the vow cannot be fathers.
What?
People who take the vow cannot be fathers.
You're shitting me. Why would anyone do that?
For the Lord.
And like Melora, she's like all naturey and stuff. Yeah.
She is of the storms.
Have you ever seen married couples? Can you think of stuff more stormy than that?
Quite right, Jax. I've seen a fair few hurricanes in my time.
Are you sure that's just not like, that sounds weird?
Well, we all have our burdens to bear. Now I have celibacy and an egg.
Jax is just looking confused now. Should we go and find Serial and see if she can use this Orby thing?
I got Lou, yes. He says,
Yeah, and sort of going, it's wrong, but it's mine. But
yeah,
it's wrong,
he likes
but
it.
it's mine.
Very well, Jax. Let's move on.
Has Killian heard any of this conversation?
You can make a perception if you were trying to listen in.
I mean, I basically wandered across out of the bridge to sort of,
Yeah.
have a
You
quiet
would be
word with
nosy.
Tom.
Killian is nosy. You would be trying to perceive it. Don't lie, Killian. Norn. Yes, that's right. I used your. I don't know.
14.
14. You hear mumbling. You hear a gasp, and then a laugh, but no.
Okay.
You probably would have got the "you're shitting me," right?
Why would anyone do that? I would have heard that bit.
Yeah, that would have been shouted, but the rest of it would have been kind of like, yeah, just Charlie guffawing.
Because I was thinking, like, if Jackson had given Killian like the look of like, I'm going to talk to him, Killian would have just stood there like hands in trousers going. He gets it. He's not stupid.
Killian's very charismatic.
He's just a bit of an arsehole.
Yeah, he's not stupid. He's just gruff and I think played up.
So yeah, let's head back over towards the
There is a meeting in the library.
go to the library. Yeah,
Yeah. Should we have a quick comfort break, teas, coffees, and then come back?
seems like a plan.
Right. Boop, 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 boop. Half time.
But anyway, so should we carry on as we're all back in here and present?
Yeah, let's rock. Let's go. So you all meet up in the library. Sarah was looking drained, quite not disheveled at all, but you can see that there is not the radiance that occurred from her before, and
I look frustrated, forlorn.
Lady Sarah,
Like Jax is definitely going to pick up on that.
what ails you?
Well, I tried twice to focus on finding the king, and unfortunately, all I did is manage to get glimpses into his and the prince's past.
Can't like Charlie or Killian, they do magic stuff. Can they help?
Charles, what's going on with the dog?
He's just stuck his whole head under a bookcase for some unknown reason.
Chasing a spider. You'll be chasing a spider.
Charles says,
Now, for what's going to investigate?
he says, I don't have much experience with divination, scrying, and such things. My magic is in the form of healing and some violence also.
Well, how does this thing work? Let's go up and have a look at this stony thing.
If you want to have a look at it, you're more than welcome. I was gonna I had a thought that maybe I need something that's of the king now, rather than the king that I knew in the past, or the king that I've seen in pictures when the prince was young.
Yeah, so we go on upstairs then.
Yeah. So
Charlie was like, "I'll join you," and
let's have a look.
okay, through the other room.
Hang on a minute.
There is a room filled with runic patterns on the floor, and a great and on the centre a crystal ball of sorts.
Can I go over and have a look in it? I just want to look at it. Like, is it actually a crystal ball, or can you see through it, or has it got like weird smoky shit
There
inside?
is some sort of mist inside that is grey with a purplish edge to it.
Oh my god. Could you go get me a bit of tissue or something?
What?
You caught it, and you must have caught it over there. It's
Hold on,
really
sorry.
bad.
Hold on, guys. Sorry, the dog's bleeding now.
Sorry.
Popeye, what you doing?
It's his ear.
Ah,
It's bee sting.
Yeah. He just caught it and it's just,
Well, it's not bleeding bad. I just nipped it.
it looked like it was.
No,
It's
dry.
Oh.
Bed. Bed.
Bed.
Come on. Bed. Bed. Okay. Yeah, so to the other room, Jack. Yes, so there is. We went to the other room. There is a circle of runes on the floor. There is a crystal ball, and inside there is some sort of mist. And
Can
did I ever find out what the rune said?
no, you realise that they were for warding or some sort. Jack,
Can I have a look at the runes and see if any are giantish runes,
you can.
like my ones I carve into my armor and weapons?
Yeah, of course. Make an investigation check, please.
An investigation check, you say?
Yeah.
Ooh, 14.
You look. None of these seem to be of giant origin.
It's a bit of a long. The only runes I know.
Yeah, that's good.
Uh,
It would make sense to Jack's.
So you just kind of stare into this thing and sort of think of other places and stuff.
I try and focus on the individual, the person that we are searching for, and not inhale crisps.
And you two can't help with this magic stuff.
We could maybe try and harness our energies together.
That would help. I am tired. I think this is going to be the last time I'm going to be able to do this for a while. Maybe we hold hands together. Those of us with magic powers.
We could try and channel it in that manner. Killian, would you help Lady Sarah and myself try and figure out where the king is? Or the prince is? Who are we looking for? Who do we need to put in our minds? We only know the prince.
Oh, of course. You don't know the king. Do you both think that if we find the prince, we'll find the king?
No, I think he's either like killed him off or he's locked him in a deep dark hole somewhere on the mainland or the main Froas. I'm thinking if the prince was the one that went through the portal and is in this Shadowfell thing, he could well be dead.
What if I showed you a picture of him and you could sort of focus on that rather than actually focusing? I don't know how this would work. Whether if you could just focus on the image of him rather than him as a person, but him as an image, whether that would help enough. I don't know.
We've seen images, haven't we?
Yeah, he's downstairs.
Yes,
We've
we
got the
that
search
to be the
place.
king. Is that the fellow in the paintings with the young boy?
Yes, it is. Yes,
Then we know what he
Oh,
looks like.
that picture was the young boy is maybe 20 years old, so you have to imagine him 20 years older.
Can I just ask a question? So the weird little guy, false, him, would he know the king?
He doesn't.
Why don't we ask him to help as well? Because if he knows the king,
Because we don't know that he's on the side of the people that are trying to free the king, and he's definitely a prince's person.
true.
So, do we really want to say we think the prince set up the king and either bumped him off or buried him in a deep dark hole?
Well, we don't have to tell him that.
Not necessarily.
But he might be good if we actually try to find the prince.
How good is he at art? Little weird guy.
Well, you've never
Both.
seen him do anything.
I was going to say he could possibly draw a picture of the king. Good at art, and we could use that.
Why don't we use stealth we could use stealth to try and find the prince?
Yeah.
Well, as I say, I'm only going to have one more attempt, and I think it's more important that we find the king than we find the prince. As we
Is
say,
it
we
like-
think we know where the prince has gone.
Is it like a tiring thing or what?
Yeah, it's imagine in your world, Jackson. Imagine doing 4 or 5 battles with somebody who is a similar agility to you. Imagine doing 4 or 5 battles, but rather than the battles in the body, these are the battles in my mind. So my mind is tired rather than my body. Does Jackson get
Not really.
Jack can kind of go nod like he was listening, but then it's going to go.
He's just like, oh yeah, cool. That kind.
Lady Sarah, if you would like, I will assist in whichever way I can. I think our decision is to decide who we look for.
I think we look for the prince now.
Or do we look for the prince?
I vote we look for the king. Killian?
Well, you look for the king, and like Charlie and Killian can look for the prince.
Don't know whether they've actually got the ability to be able to look for the prince.
Never
As
tried.
Charlie
I've
said,
never
he's not.
tried to touch it.
You could try.
So what? So you just like sort of stare into this thing and think prince, 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 prince.
Well, if we do it all together with Jackson and Killian, not Jackson, Charles and Killian, then we need to focus on the king first, and to see if we can find the king, and then
But
if
we don't know what the king looks like, so how can we focus on the
We
king?
know from the portraits.
from the portrait we've established this.
Okay,
I have an idea. Jackson,
painkillers have kicked in.
I think that maybe what you are thinking is that Killian or I have a go. And
On
then
your
one
own?
of us could then assist Sarah, the one that doesn't have a go. And then maybe you could assist us.
By what? Saying he's a bit weird. I mean, I
What
can
I'm
go
talking
get the
about
pen.
in DM terms is that we get 2 more Arcana rolls with advantage because they're assists.
Well, I was thinking in slightly different terms that sort of certainly someone has the spell called guidance, which gives a bonus to Arcana rolls.
Yeah, Charlie
Where's
can
the guidance?
I can cast guidance, but then I can also assist.
I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna go downstairs and like sort of unhook the big painting and bring it back up.
Okay.
Well, that's a good idea.
So you gather these elements around you. Charlie's
Toby, go away.
Charlie will.
See at the end.
Who's going to cast guidance on? He's going to cast it on. He's going to cast it on himself, so he looks better at doing stuff, but not tell anybody.
That sounds like a Charlie thing.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's quite. He would want. Would want other. He's selfless, really. So he casts guidance on Serial. The target can roll a d4 and add this number to the number rolled to an ability check.
Okay.
And then he says to Jax, I think you and I make a pretty good team.
Okay.
So he says, come with me. Take my hand and I shall see if I can find the prince.
You want to do the prince one thing first, are you? Okay.
Want something of the princes? I'm gonna go back downstairs and I'll get. We worked out there was one of the weapons he used, wasn't there?
Yeah.
He'd actually used rather than. So I'm going to take that off the wall, and I'm going to go into his bedroom and I don't know. He had diaries and stuff like that there, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I'll grab that one of them.
Cool.
So I'm going to hold the sword and I'm going to give a diary to Charlie.
And then Charlie, like this, you stand around and Charlie rolls for his arcana with a plus. No, I'm not guidance myself. Okay. You see Charlie's eyes go glazed. And he blinks a few times. And then he's back. And he says, I was climbing a pile of bodies. Corpses. Climbing over a pile of corpses.
That doesn't sound good.
Pleading.
You were bleeding.
Pleading, not bleeding, Jax. Pleading. I could hear a voice. I heard the voice of the prince, but it was myself. And there was a figure in mists. A figure shrouded in cloud and fog that spoke in my mind.
What did it say?
It spoke and it knew my name. When I didn't know my name, but it knew his name. It knew that I was Tustin, and it knew that I was the prince.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was here again.
So do you think this is this shadow place?
By all accounts, from what Serial and I discovered in the library, this sounds like this place of death. This realm of the dead. And
So he's gone looking and he's getting his arse handed to him.
he may have peered too deeply into the dark things.
Charles, do you think he'll be able to come out? He was pleading. What was he saying?
It was mostly whimpering, confused, babbling, like a lost child. Just
You think he's a lost soul? Do you? Do you think he's not coming back from that place?
I do not know. He lived. I felt much alive. I did not feel that I was dead. The cold, chill flesh of the bodies, the smell in my nostrils was rank.
Man.
The smell of putrefying flesh, and it was most foul.
That's what you said, rank of like man.
Absolutely minging.
Ming sounds so wrong from Charles's voice.
I'm not sure this guy's going to make his way back here. I'm also
Sounds like he's in a dark place. It's whether or not he can actually escape. I don't know. I don't know how versatile he is.
unless he makes a deal with whatever it is that he's chatting to.
Have many of you guys tried to talk whilst you're having these visions as these people?
Serial had one role where she had a modicum of control, and Charlie described that he was climbing. Basically, based on your Arcana roll, is your level of control within the thing.
But it's all dependent on what Arcana roll I roll when I do the vision.
Oh, yeah, that's why your glimpse is so far today, because your rolls have been reasonably low. I mean, they've been good, but it's quite a high DC. This is quite a high magic to peer. So you've got one more go, Serial, with an advantage with the if kills.
I asked everybody if they can form a circle around around me, and so there's sort of like a protective ring while I lay my hands on the orb, and I want Killian and Jackson to sort of be either side of me, so they're almost like they're flanking me.
Yeah, okay. Let's
Jack
make this
is gonna look
Arcana.
confused and puzzled and like sort of, you know, into the, you're sort of focusing on things. He's gonna be like, isn't this a triangle?
Don't be pedantic.
We can get both, and then we can make it into a quadrangle.
No, we can make a square.
We can make a cube.
That's great.
No, making a cube.
That's three.
Yeah, making a cube.
3D. No, where's it?
Yeah.
24! Woo!
Did you add your D4?
Oh, I didn't have a D4 to 28.
No, you roll a
Roll it.
D4 and you get whatever you roll.
Oh, right. Okay, roll it. Okay, so I got 24 plus whatever the D4 is. 4.
Okay.
28.
You assimilate control in this vision. This time you are in a bed similar to the bed you woke up in this morning. Beautiful silk sheets, 4-poster, you can tell from where you're laying down, and to your right, sun comes in spring morning through the window. Lazy drapery blows gently in this spring breeze, and the smell of flowers and pollen and the and birds are in the air. What would you like to do?
I want to get out of bed. Just quick DM question. What is the season well in the present?
In the present, it's coming towards spring. It is coming towards spring because that was the festival of Melora.
Right. So the what I'm in now is slightly in the future. If that's the case, so in the vision I'm in, slightly in the future.
You tell me. I'm just telling you the situation.
Okay. So if we're coming up to spring now, in the actual present, what I can see in the future, if it's the spring sunshine coming through the windows, then my assumption is that I'm slightly in the future in what I can actually see. I have control over so I look down at my hands to try and gauge the age of the king.
As you get out, you are naked,
Mhm.
and you're male, and you're human, and you kind of lift the cover, and then you hear a oh, and you turn around immediately to see it, and it's the same dark-haired woman that was at the dining table, but younger looking, and as you pull the cover just from you getting up, her chest is exposed, and she's beautiful, laying there in these silken sheets, and she pulls the cover sleepily back over herself. And you stand, you look at your hands, they are non-callous, they are beautiful, muscular hands.
Right. So we are back in the past. I get out of bed. I get dressed, and I look out of the bedroom window to see what I can see.
Mm-hmm. You peer out. You're in some sort of country manor somewhere. You see that there's a lake nearby, and you see a great mountain in the middle of the lake. You glance, realizing this isn't a mountain, but smoke comes from the top of it.
A volcano.
Pretty good assumption.
Oh. You're clever, you are.
Go on, share with the family.
The island, the place with the volcano,
Mhm.
the place that we've been able to see from the tower,
Yeah.
through the telescope.
No, we didn't need a telescope. We saw the smoke from it.
Yeah. If that's where the visions of the king are taking you, so that might be where the king is now. If that is where the visions of the king are taking you, because it's green, is that where the king's from? Or is that where she's from? Oh, my brain's just going into overload now.
What would you like to do, Sarah? Glad you know.
Sorry.
In the king body.
I would like to wake my wife up, or I assume it's my wife,
Mm-hmm.
and I would like to hug her, and then sort of stand her up, but sort of wrap the duvet around both of us as we stand by the window.
Mm-hmm. You do so, and you glance out of the lake, and she leans into you and closes her eyes, and long lashes fall against pale cheeks. And she says, "We must get dressed. Well, I must get dressed." She kind of blushes, shrugs slightly. "He'll be awake soon. You know how he is in the morning."
So I let her get dressed, and then I follow her to what I think will be the prince's bedroom.
You're still stark naked.
No, she got dressed.
No, I got dressed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She walks away, but doesn't take the sheet.
Hmm.
She stalks across the bedroom, and it drops off of her curves as she walks away with this long dark hair down her back.
Yeah.
And she walks behind the screen. She deliberately did it. You know that she deliberately did it.
And I'm admiring her form as the king.
Yeah. She comes out in a simple gown,
Mhm.
again beautifully made, and she offers you her hand,
I take her hand.
and she says, "Come, let's see where he is." You move along a corridor of sorts and out onto a landing, and then you can hear the sounds of laughing, child's laughter. And it's coming quite clearly from behind the door.
So I go to the child's bedroom.
You open it up and you see a very small boy with two wooden dolls going, playing with each other. And it's like, don't do that. I'm big evil, and I will get you, and I will make him get you. The bad guys will get you. And he's like, you won't get me. I'm the king. And he's like, no, even if you are a king, it will still get you, because at the end of things, I can always get everybody with my big bad boss. And he's like, you cannot get me. I am the king. I've told you before. I am royal, and nothing can hurt me at all. And he's like, I can. You just watch. And then he kind of glances up and he's like, hi.
So even there, even as a child, he was already affiliating with something evil that was going to overthrow the king or get the king. I note that, but still observe as the king, but note that as Serial.
He stands up and he's holding like one of the dolls by its arm, one by its leg, and he's like looking up like, what? What is it?
I kneel down to him. I say, you do realize that you should focus on standing with the king rather than joining forces with the evil ones, don't you?
Of course, Dad. I wasn't on the baddies' side.
It didn't look like that
on...
to me.
No, you've got to do both the voices when you're playing a game. You've always got to have a goodie and a baddie. The goodies always win, Dad.
Yes, you have to fight these forces of evil. You will learn that as you grow older, my son. And I sort of ruffle his hair like that. And then I look towards my wife.
He says, I'll fight with you, Dad, then. I'll need a bigger horse, though.
I roll my eyes. I don't sort of nod to say yes, but I roll my eyes and sort of, okay, maybe one day kind of way.
That wasn't a no, was it, Dad?
We'll see. We'll see.
Does that mean yes, Mum? He's like nods. Like you
I
can
nod,
see
yeah.
that nod at the side of your vision, but you pretend
Yeah.
not to notice. He's like, yes. And he says, are we going to eat?
Are you hungry?
Yeah. I'll eat.
So I follow, so I take his hand and I put my arm around my wife and we go downstairs towards the
Says, wait, I've got to tuck him in bed. So he runs and he puts his two. toys, tucks them in, says,
Mhm.
"You good? Well, I'm away." And then turns around and says, "All right, hands up." You reckon he
And
might
so I
be-
pick him up and put him on my
Six.
shoulders.
Oh, he goes, "Wow! Ah! Dad, mind that chandelier like last time you got my head on it. Please
So-
don't hit my head again."
So as I go down the stairs, I'm very careful and very aware of where he is, and if any points where the lights are a bit low, I sort of tell him to duck so he doesn't hit his head.
He ducks on there. And every time you say duck, he says, "Quack, quack." You get to the kitchen and there is Ferrin is there. But Ferrin is much more trim with a tidier raiment, like looks at Lunga, and she says, "Young master, mistress." No, she doesn't. She doesn't have that voice. She's what are you like for breakfast then? He says, "Pancakes."
I think the young prince would like pancakes, so pancakes it will be. Make a feast of pancakes with maple syrup and cream and fruit and sugar and lemon. The full works.
"Coming later," she says, and starts cooking away. This is a much more informal arrangement in this place that you're in. It doesn't seem royal. It seems almost familial.
Mhm.
Where you are. You sit down and you enjoy your feast of food. Gradually, you feel your grip slipping on this vision, Sarah.
Okay. The last thing I want to do before the vision goes then is try and get a sense of where I am, a bit more of the actual building I'm in rather than where it is in the landscape.
You step outside, but as you start to blink, you sort of see something different. Every time you sort of, when you come outside, the sun's bright and you put your hand up, and as you close your eyes and as the king, behind your eyes, you see something else. You don't see the sun's light behind it. When you close your eyes, you almost feel like your eyes are actually flickering open. And you are staring at a ceiling or something. And then you are losing your grip gradually on this vision that you see a worried face look over you with great thick eyeglasses and says, "Your Majesty? Your Majesty! Your Majesty! Quick, bring help! The king! He moves! He moves!" And then you're outside walking by the lake, and the lake has a volcano. You have a large building behind you, which is on the outside.
I look back at the building.
Red brick appears to be on the edge of a smaller settlement. Sort of
Like the country estate.
Yeah, you think like a country estate outside a small town.
Mhm.
You see that there are beaches that kind of go down into this lake, and you smell the salt in the air. Salt water lake.
Okay.
Or maybe even an inland sea, you might think.
I blink my eyes to see if I could see any more of that additional vision within the vision.
You close your eyes, and when you squint them really tight, you see a stone ceiling. You turn your head to the side, you see that you are in another bed. This one quite stark in contrast to what you had been in, but all around there are incenses burning. You see little symbols, every possible religious item you can imagine lie on the sides, the walls, the ceilings, crosses, circles, cross keys, shields, images of all the deities that you could list, line the walls, paintings, portraits. It's like a jumble sale of religious things have been put into this room.
Can I do?
The worried face comes back in. His head, turned his head. Someone must send word. Send word to the prince.
Okay. Do I do a nature check so I know what nature this person is that's looking over me with the glasses?
You can make a nature check to determine his race. You mean?
Yeah. So race or history, whether I actually recognise them. What do you want me to do?
You do not recognise him. I can tell you that for a history.
Yeah.
It's someone that Cyril does not know.
Okay. So I'm going to do a nature check to see whether I can identify the race.
Is it someone?
23. 23.
You believe him to be a human.
Human.
Is it somebody that's found?
Human in a religious building of multi faiths. Near.
It's not a building. It's a very small room where you're in. I mean,
right.
It's literally like, how can I describe it to you? There's a bed. There's enough room to walk around the bed in this circular space, but beyond that, there's very little room for falling over candles and censers and religious iconography piled around the room.
Okay. Sorry, say that again.
Ask where you are.
Where am I?
You feel your mouth try to move, and your mouth's so dry. Your throat barely able to make a sound. Your voice croaks, and you make just rasping as you try to say it. And he says, the little face says, rest easy, your majesty. You are safe, you are with friends, you are in Mordensow.
Mordensow.
And then
and out of the vision. And then at that point, when I realise I'm out of the vision, I sort of slump down on one knee as Serial, kind of exhausted.
And Charlie proffers a hand immediately. Serial, what did you see? What did you learn? Where should we go?
I am on the floor with my big robe sort of cascading out everywhere. I look up at Charlie, and it's unusual for me to look up at Charlie because I'm that much taller than him. But I'm on the floor. I look up at Charlie and go.
As you look up, there's this rotund stomach.
I look up at him and I say, I know where the king is. I know where we must go.
And I think... Oh, no, we got a bit more. No, we're going to carry on.
It would be so good to end it there. Shall we just end it there?
Okay, yeah. So, and that's where we'll end the episode for today. I know where we shall go. Lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's wicked. Thanks, guys.
It's good you were looking at me, you're like, like you were a bit gutted.
I thought we'd got a little bit further on in time, but I couldn't actually see the time. That's wicked. Oh, that was such good fun. Oh, do you like it? That's so cool. You now have you still have the same direction, actually. It's the same place that you were going.
Anyway.
As soon as you got on the boat,
Yeah.
All the time ago. Gonna go see the king about a thing. But you've now like uncovered more stuff about the thing.
We know what the thing is now. Yeah, and we also know the prince is in the shit, basically, and he's not coming back anytime soon unless he can get himself out of that shit.
Or unless somebody goes in and rescues him.
Yes, that's what I'm concerned as a possibility.
Or unless some people or beings go in and rescue him.
My problem is if he is in there and whoever the being is knows he's a prince, then what we get out may not be the prince, or maybe the prince on sort of supercharged sort of power, as he's made an agreement with someone over there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's
from a beast from the Shadowfell.
Who would make a pact with a Shadowfell person?
Somebody's a bit weird.
What was your last level, Bean?
What did you go up in? You became a warlock.
Yeah.
And what is your patron?
That's why I was like, somebody's a bit weird.
I believe you were a hexblade, and the hexblades generally sort of originate deals with beings from the Shadowfell. Not normally, it's the Queen of Ravens or whatever her name is, who's like the goddess of death. I mean, she's not an evil goddess. She's more sort of it's a natural thing that happens, and I'm going to make sure it happens, and I take offense at things that alter that. So like undead and things like that are bad, and liches and things like that alter the natural state of death.
Yeah, that's nothing bad. I love that new subclass though of the
Undying one.
Is wicked. Yeah, undying thing.
Yeah, there's an undead and an undying.
The one that's in the new one.
I think it's undying.
Yeah, that one.
You end up, yeah.
Did you get that?
That's
So a lot of that last adventure was us role playing the hell out of it. I liked it.
It was nice. Well, you've had a big load of battle-y one. You had 2 big battle-y ones, so I thought it was maybe
Time for some role play.
did we get like 7,500 experience by any chance?
You can have 350 because you've uncovered 400. Let's say because you've got a big plot point there.
450, yeah.
Yeah.
It's why I was like, ask where you are.
I forgot I could talk.
Yeah. There's all that time, like each time, like you've gone in and you've not looked for anything to indicate where you were. You're just like in there and enjoying the experience of being the king without kind of going, now how can I link
I love the
back?
fact that you're trying to change history.
Yeah.
You're going to be a good prince because I'm not going to let you be an evil prince.
Be a good boy now.
Yeah, that's cool. Okie dokie, guys. I will leave you.
Matt. Thank you. Oh, have you two? I don't know because I don't know if you did a group for it. Are you two setting up that other game or not, Matt?
No, not yet. No.
Okay, cool.
I don't have any spare time.
No, that's cool. I was just wondering because I sent a message to those guys that I did that one shot with just to see if they managed to find a game. They managed to find some at the local game store, which is cool after playing online with us. But I just said if you do set it up, and if you're looking for players and you.
No, so I'm probably going to run one because we've got a game club just up the road.
Yeah.
So I might sort of run something for them, like actually in person. Because on my Saturday evening game, he spun off. So effectively, on the Saturday evening game, we got we had like effectively 2 conflicting
turn timeline. or something.
Well, no, there were two different people offered us a job to sort of basically fix everything and sort of make the world prepared for this battle, this big war that's about to kick off. Yeah, and we picked a side, but he obviously had plans if we picked the other side as well.
Mm-hmm.
So he's actually like, I'm going to run that game as well, and like the stuff that happens is going to affect the other game.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it'll be like you're fighting yourselves in places, or
Yeah, well, so no, not. I'm. There's only two of us in the first campaign that are playing in the second one.
okay.
But that now means I have a game on Monday, game on Tuesday, which may now be Wednesday, a game on Thursday, a game on Friday, 2 games on Saturday, and a game on Sunday.
That is a lot of D&D.
That is some major D&D.
Not all of it is D&D. There are a couple of other things
Oh, you
in
got
there.
your werewolf one, haven't you? Or something?
I've got a werewolfy one, and I've got a Eurecia one, which is I don't get on with it. It's one of these sort of rules light games.
Mm-hmm.
So like the rule system for it is it's about 6 pages long.
Okay.
And what you do is you write sort of statements about your character. So you have like traits.
Mm-hmm.
So you can so it could be I'm a fighter, yeah, but it could also be I'm an orcish outlander who sort of fights as a bounty hunter and does this and that and that. So they can both be a valid sort of statement. And then when you're role playing, you can sit there and say, because I'm a half orc, I'm good at blah, and then you get to roll your dice on that number of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not very good at it because I kind of think of like sort of 4 things as a description. And some a mate of mine who plays it a lot was like, you could have just done that in like 1 statement and had 3 other statements you could have applied to stuff.
Yeah, Lou, how are you with moving this to a Monday or Tuesday?
Thursday, a Wednesday.
Wednesday today. You mean Monday or Wednesday?
This moving to a Wednesday, sorry.
Wednesday would be fine, yeah.
Cool, because one of the other guys from the other game has got a new job that is Wednesday to Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Evenings at a hotel, possibly.
Right.
Managing it, so long hours. So I'm just trying to see if we can shift that.
We can shift ours over to Wednesday and then theirs to Tuesday.
Yeah, well, if we move, well, at the moment it would only give us Monday that we could have an option to move it to. I want to give the option of Monday or Tuesday to move it to fit around other people's games and stuff like that. So because obviously we don't really want him, like, he doesn't want to leave the game, but they also don't know. So we've made it into a massive thing in game. So we're gonna make it really, really difficult and horrible and heartbreaking for them tomorrow, which will be brilliant. George has said, like, let's make it really dramatic for them. So like, my character's just gonna walk out basically on them, and he's like, yeah, because he's evil basically. So yeah, cool. All right, lovely. I'm gonna shut these meetings down.
I just need to say one thing before I go. I am with my family next week, so I can't. If we can play on Wednesday next week, I am home by Wednesday, but I'm not going to be home on the Tuesday.
Okay, cool. No worries. I'll find out what we're doing and I will message everybody in the group.
Okay.
Okay, cool. See you later, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Boop, boop, boop.